Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And let me welcome Vijay Hingorani today afternoon in this conversation. Vijay is the CEO and he has been leading his company in the medical diagnostics for quite some time. And he has shown with his leadership quality how business can sustain and grow even in the difficult times. We all know that our situation currently caused by pandemic is very difficult and we all are going through that. Since Vijay is also leading his company with a lot of resources and a lot of issues and challenges, how he is seeing it. Vijay, can you share your thoughts today in this conversation? And how is
Yes,
your business going?
thank you, Alak, for inviting me to speak with you. And I come from an industry of medical diagnostics, which is very popular right now because of all the testing to be done with COVID and because of all the evolution in systems to detect and trace COVID, because of all the companies that are jumping into the fray to go out and target a new market need. So it is very important that people jump from relying on old industrial type systems to more technology to gain actionable intelligence and use it to serve their customer base best.
Excellent. And Vijay, I think you and I have talked a number of times, right? So customer is key for any business. And you agree with me that you also taking care of your key customers. And obviously their feedback, their constant intelligence is also important. How are the other businesses to listen to customers and to change their business processes to suit customer needs?
Well, the way I look at it is not only are the customers very important, but also your employee base is just as important. So if you can have a system that transforms the information from the field to the employees and completes that circle, you will have a better customer experience in terms of engagement. You will have a better experience in terms of less complaints. And if you can take that type of intelligence and marry it to systems, you can gain the efficiency in responding to those needs, whether it be a complaint or product development or just systems improvement to increase your bottom line. And that's where we're trying to use more and more systems to actionable intelligence that, I mean, the human factor has to be taken out when information flows so fast. And so you're absolutely right, in our industry too, it's impacting us a lot.
So as I understand from you that listening to customer in real time is really important. And that has to go eliminating some of the manual processes to capture or to take the customer feedback. You need to see some of the automation there, right? So how the systems to be automated to capture, process, and give you some intelligence in real time.
Yes, that and the employee engagement as well, because the customer feedback comes through from different sources. Hopefully it can be more streamlined through technology, through artificial intelligence, where they can be responded to in some way, shape, and form. However, if that information doesn't translate all the way in through the company, you can't improve the response time to customers, you can't improve your bottom line, because you have to be able to tell what part of that information affects operations, what part of that information affects research and development, what part of that information impacts systems overall. So it's not a one dimension thing. It's a multi-dimension, multifaceted task.
Right. So the guidance what you're giving Vijay that it should be multi-dimensional aspect of listening to all those. So maybe on the manufacturing for the product improvement, maybe the sales process for the sales improvement, and also customers' demand in terms of what kind of services or product they're looking for. So all across, and the system, as you just alluded towards, artificial intelligence systems should do the magic.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah, sure.
So COVID is at a very fast pace expanding throughout the world. We have customers who currently deal with us for bulk reagents. They send us their feedback and so on and so forth. But we try to get market feedback so that we can actually drive our customers into new product areas or new product development, new product discoveries. So if we had a system where not only the customer engagement and potential engagement teaches us on where the gap is. Then we can go back to our customers and say, hey, by the way, we heard that there's 35 companies on this path to this biomarker. Can you please see if you wanted to develop something like that? And it
Mhm.
doesn't flow fast enough.
Mhm.
Or by the time we gather all the information and we translate it to customers, they gather all the information, send it back to us, it's taking us time. And that's loss of productivity, loss of opportunity, and loss of profit.
So instant real time, that's the key which you are alluding towards, that business owners or leaders are looking for something which should, process and give you some intelligence right in time.
Correct. There's at least 20 industry sources
Uh-huh.
that give data in real time through press releases and data mining of customers who are releasing it. We have to wait until the FDA releases that list. But if we were able to get that information through artificial intelligence by data mining, through communication sources that are out there in the business, we'd be a lot more efficient. We'd be at
Sure.
least 2 to 3 weeks ahead of the curve, which
Mhm.
could save us hundreds of thousands of dollars in development time and going down.
Sure. Mhm. So now, since you're mentioning about that, and there are many areas, many processes in the businesses, right? One can think of automating them, where less human intervention, less human involvement will be needed. Can you also share some light that which are the areas which you think in your field can be easily automated? With
So
the help of chatbot. Chatbot is the artificial intelligence assistant which can help you automate, right? And you have just seen that how chatbot is playing the role in terms of customer engagement on the web or on the retail or in your business of customer interaction, right? So many processes can be run to that.
right, and I understand that in our business, which is bulk sales, business to business, maybe it's not so impactful to have a robot. We need to have a real live person, a technical response back. But once you have a product on the market and you're inundated with 5,000, 10,000 calls, then it's no longer a human voice that can answer every question. It has to be given to a chatbot that has to be programmed well to respond to the basic inquiries. Hey, I need a safety data sheet. Do you have an ISO clearance? And those type of things a chatbot could handle very easily. And that makes up about 50% of our inquiries. So in that, when I saw your system, it's really intriguing because it can help us gain productivity and shorten response times to customers.
Right. So what you're suggesting is inbound, outbound both. So when customer is trying to call you for some help, some services, your bots is available and can help. So your people time is protected. They can do some constructive job.
Right, without giving the customer an impression that they're not important. So
Yes.
it has to be the proper type of response. But if there's some canned inquiries, rather than just putting them on the web and redirecting them to the web, if there's a bot that can be, okay, I'm here to help you, like when you try to buy a car,
Yeah, right.
and suddenly a chatbot comes in and starts
Mhm.
to talk with you and then directs you to the right department.
Right. So this conversational bot, which we are talking about, Vijay, is all about how intelligent the bot can be. The more and more data we feed into the system, more it becomes context-based conversation. Like you're familiar with Alexa. Hey Google, hey Alexa, turn off this light, turn off this, and you're getting used to that. So same thing if we enable on the conversational bot on your smart device, probably you'll get trained, you'll get tuned, and customer will also get trained without impacting on their personalization.
Right. I travel a lot for business. I just came back from Maryland. I stayed
Mhm,
at a nice Marriott there, and
mhm,
they've cut down their staff by more than 50% because their room occupancy is less than 10 or 15%.
mhm,
So they actually have one person at the front desk, and you keep on leaving them messages. Ultimately, you go and break into the towel room and get your own towels. So if
mhm.
they had a bot like that, if they had a bot like that for the car rental, if they had a bot like that for many different industries, it would make a life a lot easier, at least during these pandemic times. But I think it could also become way of life past the pandemic issues.
Mhm.
So those are good for the hospitality industries and such.
And this is going to come across industries. Hospitality is obviously, taking the brunt of it, and they're suffering right now. But other industries as well, because airlines will also be looking at that. Banks are looking for, because banks branches are closed down, and since online is the way forward, we are thinking of that how bot can really be part of our life.
Yeah, it can be. And in our industry, for example, diagnostic testing services, you have a COVID result, you went out and gave a swab or you gave a blood sample, and it goes into the abyss. And
Mhm,
14 days later, you're hearing back from them, and by now your quarantine's already over.
mhm,
If
mhm,
they were to rely more on AI and
mhm.
those type of systems to be able to speed up the communication, it would be a lot easier. But it's very frustrating for people to deal with antiquated systems like the Quest Diagnostics or the LabCorps. And hopefully you can get into those type of industries and be able to get customer response times. Because right now, I think if you had to rate them, they would probably rate at a D or an F
I
for their
see.
response times. So you're right, absolutely right in that.
Mhm. Right. Okay, the last thing I want to touch upon, since you have been managing your company for quite some time now, and you have also seen quarter on quarter your business productivity, business profitability. So there are two ways to maintain your profitability, right? One is to grow the sales revenue. And the second one, when market is down, you have to control your cost. How effectively you suggest that one should be doing on the helm of business leadership?
So in that, the bot won't help, right? In that, you have to really go back down to basics of business, including automation, including employee training, including things like more effective and actionable market intelligence and customer communications. So in some portions of that, you could employ some AI type systems. For example, in manufacturing resource planning, when materials are needed, when you need to buy new equipment, when the quality control checks are due. Those type of things from an operation side could actually increase productivity and and lead to less downtime. But at the end of the day, those have to be intertwined with the human systems who can learn to use them to gain more profit, more productivity, and also to cause less delays in terms of shipping. So we're focusing on all of those in terms of making our company more productive. Because if business stays the way it is, where some industries are not even doing business, we need to become more productive in our current systems to be able to respond to market needs.
So as I see it, that since as you know, Centric is offering AI ready, AI powered three systems. One is basically looking at the customer engagement through communication and response, where you're listening to the customer, and also automating the task of communication. The second one, which you also saw, that how we can automate the processes through chatbot, those are intelligent processes. And the last one we saw is Profit Edge, which provides you also the profitability control with the help of artificial intelligence data, which is coming in together. Now, having all seen that, what is the message you like to communicate to the company leaders or business leaders? Whether this technology coming in will be scaring them that, hey, this technology will replace the humans and they'll be worried about that, or what is the message you like to give?
Well, I always tell people, don't let your competition obsolete you. And those who become smarter, more efficient, use of technology is intertwined in our life, from watches to phones to everything. So no sense getting scared of it. Just use it as a more productive tool. Tune your business to intertwine themselves with technology and gain more productivity. There's no harm in doing that. But if you're scared of technology, you're going to be obsolete. That's the first message. The second thing is, if you don't understand technology, let some of the AI things help you get there and consult with people who know. But I think it's a part of our life now, and you can't escape it. If you don't evolve in that, you're probably going to go out of business in 5, 10 years.
Excellent, Vijay. So the message you have given is, embrace technology before you get obsolete.